Hello, my name is Emmett Turner, and this is my dissection project for my mechanics-based design laboratory class with Dr. Mara. Today I'll be dissecting this man right here, the Rock Around Santa, a part of the Rock Santa Collectibles by Christmas Fantasy. This is the edition 3, part number 271803. It was produced in 1999 and is over 20 years old. He was purchased in 1999 by my mom at Briarwood Mall in Michigan for around $25. Today, he can only be found online on Amazon from anywhere from $60 to $150. So he's aged pretty well pricing. The main objective of this Santa Claus is to dance side to side, moving his hips back and forth, and moving his arms as he dances to the song by Brenda Lee, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. Now, as he dances, you might hear a clicking sound in his stomach and see his arms don't move. So as I dissect him later in the video, I want to find out why he isn't working properly. Here's a little preview of him dancing. So that's how he works externally. Now let's find out how he works internally. First things first, this Santa works on about 4.5 volts from a DC adapter. So I will unplug this that's attached to my wall socket. Now on the back here, if you can see, there are a number of slots that screw in to keep this back plate on. So I've taken off the majority of those, and I'm taking off the last one here. This will allow us to see into what's going on in the back area of this Santa Claus. So the last screw is out, and then let's see what happens here. The back plate has been removed, and to make one small note, as I pulled off the back plate, this spring right here fell out of the compartment. So this is probably our first indicator of maybe an issue with the noise, the clicking sound, the motor was turning, or with the arms or head not moving. So let's take a look inside this Santa Claus. Now the first thing you can see here is a lot of gears in this central area. The overview of what's happening is this spindle here is being turned clockwise and counterclockwise by the motor. What this does for the lower body is turning this, get a better angle, turning this gear left and right makes the hips move left and right with it. Thanks to these gears, this gear attachment to this main motor compartment here with these gears, causing them to move back and forth when the motor is turned. Now you're probably wondering, what is this big black piece in the middle? Pulling this out shows the main issue that was found with this Santa Claus. This is the most pivotal piece that allows the legs, arms, and head to move as one from the turning motor. Now, as you can see, without it, the motor turns this main gear still. It can move the legs back and forth, but the arms and head do not move. That is because this gear, almost like half a gear, will attach here and move back and forth when the motor turns it. Now, the clicking sound we found was due to when this was on the gear motor, but was off slightly. When it would turn to one side, it would be off the main gear motor and make that clicking sound. But what was supposed to happen was this piece would attach to the arms, and when this gear turned by the motor would move, it would move the arms with it. Now, let's get a little more into why the arms would move with this piece being turned by the motor. Now, this piece here, the head and the two arms all work together. So, to show how they worked, I've taken off the head, both arms, and the central black piece. Now, first things first, let's look at the arms. There were 3 pins here, as you can see. The middle one would go into a little slot here and here that would just keep the arm in place on the Santa. Kind of more just for housing to make sure it didn't fall off from its location. The other 2 are more important. The first one would attach into the slot here, this way, and then would move when this thing moved. When the central piece moved back and forth, the arms could move in this slot back and forth and turn. Same with the other arm. Now the issue of why the arm stopped working was due to this spring. This spring was supposed to be attached here and keep the arms in tension as they moved, making them kind of move back and forth instead of just staying in one place. The spring helping bring it back when the motor would turn would help keep it moving. Now the final piece of so that's how the arms work. Now the head moving attached to would be the last pin here. This pin would go in this slot, which was attached to the head, and then when this arm would move back and forth like so, it would move the head side to side. Now this head works on the final spring at the top. You can see this spring is in place how it's supposed to, in tension. They would move with the arms back and forth, making the head move. However, since this spring here, became detached from the central piece, both the arms and the head could not move. To end this dissection, I want to go over loading and safety. First, loading. There were 3 springs, including one in the head, one in the arms, and one in the legs. Now, all 3 of these springs were in constant tension and compression throughout the movement. Engineers making this product had to make sure these springs would be able to take this wear and tear over time for as many as 20 years. This is probably one of the factors they had to issue into figuring out how and which ones to choose, which type to build. As you can see, to choose these ones that would hook on to the ledges instead of just gluing them on or attaching them strictly to the main frame. That also allows them to possibly fall off, as this one did. Also, these plastic pieces here and the main plastic piece here are under constant loading and tension from the moving arms, head, and legs. Finally, a few things with safety. With the motor constantly turning, the possibility of it overheating or dying. They had to keep it safe and keep things running smoothly. Now, a way to keep it running smoothly was there was a lot of residue, as you can see, on these gears and spindles. So as they turned, they kept working smoothly, wouldn't get caught, which would cause the motor to work harder than it had to do. And finally, the last piece, as you can see, there is a wire connecting this motor compartment down through the leg to where it would plug into the wall. This had to be wired without affecting any moving piece or gear, but still allow the Santa to work. Overall, things went well besides the spring being able to pop off on the main piece that would allow the arms and head to move. So that concludes my dissection of the Rock Around Santa. Thank you for watching and Merry Christmas.